Live from Austin, Texas, with host Rosie Newberry. Local trends, shopping, and more. This is Studio 512.
The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by the Puppy Food Bank. Every September, y'all, our community has an opportunity to impact the lives of shelter dogs in our area and beyond by donating to the Puppy Food Bank. Joining us now to talk about the importance of this organization is Executive Director Danielle Gunter, who also has some sweet little friends that she brought along with her. Danielle, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having all of us.
All of us. Yeah. We're going to talk about the little friends we've got in just a second, but let's talk first about the Puppy Food Bank and how Pledge Month supports your mission. And by the way, this dog is really sweet and very happy. She's just kind of making little sweet little puppy noises, so she's okay.
So we are in year 3 of our organization being public and really supporting no-kill rescues, not only across Texas, but across the United States. We've been distributing dog and cat food. I always like to mention that because we do support our feline friends as well. And what really started out here in Texas kind of just came alive to go national just because of the fact that we were getting so many applications from across the United States, and we started getting donors from every state that we said we've got enough funding that we can really impact it. But what's really cool is that all the money that's raised in Texas stays in Texas. It doesn't go beyond, and that we know that that's very important to donors, and they want to make sure that who they're helping is local. We support a lot of rescues that are in Austin and their surrounding counties, which is fantastic because we know there's a huge population and a need for it. And every September we've been doing Pledge Month thanks to Thomas J. Henry. He likes to sponsor us, and he'll match up to $80,000. So It's a really good time right now. If you are not a current donor, you can be a one-time donor, you can be a monthly donor. And then it gets doubled, which is fantastic. We are gearing up for our puppy and kitten season. So a lot of the rescues will reach out to us and suddenly they've got 6 litters of puppies and they need formula or they need extra puppy food more than their normal orders. And so this money helps us not only support just our monthly expenses with the dog and cat food, but also to help with those emergency situations where we're getting called or there's a hoarding situation. But really, it's that coming up on puppy and kitten season, and we spend about $40,000 a month to support all of the rescues that we support.
Whoa.
So it's a huge impact that we're making during this Pledge Month that'll be able to help support about 4 months worth of dog food.
That is incredible. Okay. Yeah, you brought it up just a little bit there, but I do want to talk about why September is such a critical time for your organization. You basically told me off camera twice a year we kind of gear up because things are about to get a little bit hectic.
Yes, so always in the spring and then of course here in the fall, there's just, because animals are not spayed and neutered, it's what happens naturally. And then they get dumped because people weren't expecting litters. And it just becomes a huge, not only capacity crisis that the shelters are already facing, but now, they don't want to have to turn away dogs. Well, part of the way that they don't turn them away is that they have food. We know that the food is coming from us. They know they can take on those dogs. And then they've got, medical expenses and just really being able to kind of make sure that they can provide that support. And so we come in and we say, okay, we know it's kitten and puppy season. We're gearing up, we're ramping up. We know we're gonna have to provide extra dog food, extra puppy food, kitten food. There's sometimes even bottle fed babies. For example, he was a bottle fed baby. And so, Griffin. And so it's just really important that we're prepared for those situations. And we make sure that we have the funding needed for that.
That is awesome. Okay, so speaking of the sweet little dogs we have in front of us, Griffin, I feel bad. I called you a little girl.
Yes.
But he's a sweet little boy. And he is only, what, 8 weeks old?
8 weeks old,
Look at how teensy he is, everybody.
He is
so
a terrier
sweet.
mix. He was found in San Marcos on the side of a road, and he was a bottle-fed baby, and he's probably going to get about 15 to 20 pounds. They say that he's doing really, really good in his foster home with learning, kennel training and when to go potty, which is absolutely always a dream true with a puppy. But he really is adorable and so playful. And then we've got Minnie Pearl here. She is 8 months, so she has kind of pretty much might get slightly bigger, but she was a stray that was found in South Austin, and she is also a terrier mix. And just, sweet. I haven't heard either one bark yet.
Face. Yeah.
Yes.
She's just very, happy to be hanging out with you, which is awesome.
And they're both from Love and Puppy Paws, which is here in Austin. They're a foster-based rescue that is no kill as well. And so they have fosters all the way from Austin down to Corpus, which is fantastic. And so we help support their fosters, and they're always looking for volunteers, always looking for fosters. So if you're not able to make a donation today to help support our Pledge Month, I encourage everybody to go check them out, check out our website, and see just other ways to get involved.
Absolutely, and they're a good example of one of your beneficiaries.
Yes.
So when you're looking for shelters to help, what are the criteria there?
So the biggest one is that we always make sure that they're a no-kill organization.
Sure.
And I know there's a lot of definitions out there, there's a lot of misconceptions, but if a dog is, physically able, doesn't have any type of history, and is overall a healthy dog, that you're not just, euthanizing to get rid of it and make more space. We want, every dog that is adoptable and healthy that can be adopted. Those are the rescues that we work with. We look for organizations that may not have, an entire staff to be able to constantly be out there hustling and finding funding to help pay for medical expenses or, dog food. And we really like these organizations that their biggest focus is just saving as many animals as possible. Mm-hmm. And so we are actually in our third year with Love and Puppy Paws, which is really exciting. We love the work that they do. They started out more as like a pit rescue, and now you can tell that they've evolved into other dogs as well. But the directors of the organization have just been absolutely fantastic, and they really are just about saving as many dogs as possible.
Okay, and I think you've touched on this, but the donations are so important because they directly impact these types of shelters.
So once the funding comes in, again, whether it's a monthly donation or a one-time donation, we then take that money and we directly ship out dog food to these rescues. So it's saving them time, saving them the hassle of trying to drive to a store. Let me figure out where we're getting our next shipment from, who has the best prices.
I was going to say, you also have economies of scale, which is something I always bring up in a nonprofit like this. You have the ability to buy food cheaper than they can get it on the open market.
And it really makes a bigger impact because that $5 donation suddenly goes a lot further than if you were to go to the store and buy a bag of dog food yourself and take it to them. And really, it's just been such a grateful thing because, we've been supporting them, like I said, for 3 years, and they've been able then to focus that money into other avenues, which has been helpful, not just to them, but the other rescues that we support. Cool. And I know since May of 23, we've distributed more than half a million pounds of dog and cat food across the United States.
Wow.
So
that
we're
is
really
incredible.
excited about that.
Yeah, and the number just keeps growing. So thank you for what it is you do. And of course, these two little babies are adoptable, y'all. So Love and Puppy Paws here in Austin, that's where you want to look into for them. And how can people learn a little bit more about the Puppy Food Bank?
So viewers can go online to puppyfoodbank.org. You can make a donation. And again, it's going to be doubled up until the end of this month, thanks to Thomas J. Henry. So, whether it's $5 or $25 or more, it's all going to be doubled, which is really exciting and really just help us continue to support as many rescues as we can.
Okay, sounds good to me, Danielle. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for bringing these sweet little baby guys. Take this one home. Come on. They are so sweet. Help the Puppy Food Bank by going to puppyfoodbank.org, y'all. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by the Puppy Food Bank. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Texas Oncology. Texas Oncology is dedicated to giving its cancer patients more breakthroughs, more victories. Dr. Mike Latanzi, medical oncologist specializing in prostate and urologic cancers, is here to tell us more about what the practice can offer, and we're happy to have him. Dr. Mike, if you wouldn't mind, talk to us a little bit about Texas Oncology Austin.
Yeah, sure. So Texas Oncology is a large multi-specialty group practice with medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, even urologists. We've been in the Austin area for many decades and offer kind of the full complement of urologic cancer care, including surgery and biopsies, as well as radiation and systemic therapies and hormone therapies, and even cutting-edge clinical trials for patients with advanced prostate cancer.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about what y'all offer as far as specialties, because you really run the gamut.
Absolutely. And for prostate cancer in particular, it's extremely important for patients to have access to multiple different specialties. It takes many different types of physicians to care for prostate cancer, particularly for patients with what we would call localized prostate cancer. These are patients with a cure rate, approaching 100%.
Wow.
And so it really is important in terms of getting patients to cure and deciding with those patients which path to take. It could be surgery, could be radiation, and kind of combining these three modalities together, we're able to cure the vast majority of patients if prostate cancer is detected early.
Can you give us some examples of your patients? For example, I know that some of our generations are being diagnosed with cancer earlier and earlier, and they're really working on that right now.
That's right. Both in prostate and urologic cancers and the cancer world more generally, we're seeing a shift in terms of the demographics, and we are seeing an uptick in younger patients diagnosed with cancer. In prostate cancer, those patients tend to have some kind of hereditary predisposition to prostate cancer.
If someone is maybe dealing with a new cancer diagnosis, they're in that stage where, there's a lot of newness and it might be pretty overwhelming. What would be your professional advice to them?
I think the most important thing is to seek out multidisciplinary care.
Okay.
Any patient with an early stage prostate cancer should at a minimum be evaluated by a urologist, a surgeon, a radiation oncologist, and a medical oncologist to kind of discuss what are the different treatment options and what are the potential side effects of those treatments for the patient.
Really good points today, Doctor. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you for having me.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Learn more about how Texas Oncology can support you and your loved ones at texasoncology.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Texas Oncology. Okay, picture this. 8 amateurs who have never dressed in drag, coached by 8 local queens that are icons on the Austin LGBTQIA+ scene. It makes for a very exciting and sparkly night of fun, all benefiting several great causes. Billy Mercer and Jason Sick, 2 of last year's winners and this year's producers, are here to tell us more, and we're excited. I've been a judge at this event a couple of times. It's so fun. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Jason, we're starting with you. Just talk to us a little bit about the Unite the Fight Gala, kind of and the reason for it.
Well, as you mentioned, this is our 8th year, and we're so excited to be able to bring this event back to Austin for the 8th time. The way that I like to describe it to people who aren't familiar with it is it's almost like RuPaul's Drag Race meets Dancing with the Stars. So we do take these 8 contestants who have never done drag and throw them fully into that world to learn what it takes to put on everything that has to go on to do drag. And then they have a showdown the night of our gala, and they get to show what they worked months on to entertain us at the gala, all while raising money for 4 great causes. So it's a great night, and we're very excited that it's coming up.
Yeah, lots of glitter, lots of fun. You can see the queens with the contestants right here, and it really is from the ground up, right? So both of you competed. I do want to hear a little bit more about that. But first, Billy, let's talk about the nonprofits that it supports, because it's actually 4 of them, all really wonderful LGBTQIA+ causes here in Austin.
Yeah, it's great. Like, drag is the fun portion of it, but the most important part of the evening is the fundraising that they all do so that we can continue to support our very own queer communities right here in Central Texas. Our 4 beneficiaries this year is Allgo, and they support queer communities of color. We have Equality Texas, who continue to fight legislation for equality for all LGBTQIA+ Texans. We also have Out Youth that really supports the youth of Central Texas so that they can affirm their gender identities, whatever that may be on the spectrum. And then finally, Kind Clinic is amazing because they really help support great healthcare for the queer communities right here in Texas. So the most important thing we do the whole night is raise funds for them. So
You're right. It is the most important thing, but you could be distracted by all the other fun things that are going on. And speaking of, Jason, what does the actual evening look like? Can you paint us a picture?
Sure. Well, first of all, you can't not have fun on this night. To me, it's one of the funnest nights, if not the funnest night in Austin of the year. And so, as you mentioned, and as I mentioned, these 8 contestants go toe-to-toe in this lip sync battle to win a crown, which we have an example of here tonight.
Oh, that's so weird that we
yeah.
have this little crowd. It's almost like someone who's standing here might have won it this last year, Jason.
At least my alter ego won it. I can't take any credit, but she won.
It is.
So that crown is up for grabs next Saturday, September 20th. I also am very excited to announce that we have two really special showcase performers that are going to be with us. Our host this year is Angeria Paris Van Michaels, who is the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 9. And then we have another special guest, the YouTube sensation Luscious Massacre, who is from Brownsville, Texas. An Emmy Award winner will be there as well to be our special correspondent. And most importantly, the fun is in the people watching. People get decked out for this event. And so even just sitting at your table and looking at who's around you is a fun part of the night.
You can win Best Dressed, y'all.
That's
you don't have to be
exactly right.
competing.
Yeah,
you can show up in your sequins and your glitter and you know, all the colors of the rainbow. Exactly right. And Billy, I just wanted to hear if you wanted to add in at all, especially with the fans, as we talk about what the night looks like, because this is a way of supporting the community that like people may not have thought of if they haven't been a part of this event.
Yeah, our crowd is actually probably one of the most important aspects of the night, and we actually they get to support this is mine from last year, but they get to pick which teams they want to support, and actually it goes into the scoring with the noise these fans
You guys,
make.
I'm not kidding. As a judge, I held the decibel reader.
Yeah.
So we could see how loud it got.
Yeah.
So we do it like this, right?
And you also, if it gets really hot, you can pull yourself down.
Exactly.
So it's like
Ooh, yeah.
multifunctioning.
That
you know
feels
what I mean?
really good too,
Yeah.
But the fun is in making the noise and in
Yes.
screaming for your friends and maybe somebody that you're just
And
discovering.
you kind of have to stretch, get your fingers ready, because it's 2 hours of clapping. So get ready, girls.
And there's some big talent on the stage as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
even for folks who are maybe just doing this for the very first time.
Oh, yeah.
Have to ask about what it was like to be a contestant. So Billy, if you wouldn't mind.
Like the way I describe it, and I'm going to be very honest, it's one of the most difficult things I have ever done, but it was one of the most rewarding things I have ever done. So, and our contestants we're talking to now are kind of going through it like, oh my God, I'm stressing. And I was like, we told you.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to be, but
This
I promise
is big
you.
and it's months of work.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you get a tattoo, how it hurts right away, but then like you forget the pain and you love it so much. That's kind of how the experience was for me. And I know this one was one of our top fundraisers of all time. So
Over 6 figures,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's incredible. And you won the whole shebang last year. I do also want to say you won Miss Congeniality, the Miss
Yes.
Judy Award. Yes. And so how was it for you preparing as a contestant?
It was, it's like being shot out of a cannon. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding. And, you know, Billy and I both agree, we have benefited from the work of the people who came before us and who continue to fight for our community. And so if we can just sort of dress up and perform and do our part to give back to, especially these 4 organizations, we're honored to have had that opportunity to do
That's
it.
really wonderful. Okay. All right, we're in our last minute here. So Jason, I do want to ask about tickets. Do y'all still need sponsors, donors, anything like that? I'm guessing you'd be happy to have more people there, more the merrier.
We will take more people and we will take more sponsors. We do still have tickets available. We have very few VIP tickets left. I think maybe 4 as of last night. But we do still have general admission tickets available. You can go to unitethefightgala.com to purchase those. We would love to have you next Saturday, September 20th. And we also have silent auction opportunities that we can take donations for, or just sponsorships in general. We'd love to have as much support as we can.
Well, I'm going to say congratulations on last year. Break a leg as
Thank
the
you.
producers of
Thank
this
you.
year. I
Thank
know
you.
it's going to be a big success, y'all. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Get your tickets now, y'all, at unitethefightgala.com. Stay with us. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Window World Austin. Window World Austin is proud to be a sponsor of the St. Jude Walk Austin coming up on Saturday, September 27th. Ray Folk is here with Window World along with Carly Abramson and Jana Wayne on behalf of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital to tell us more about this wonderful event. So Jana, we're coming straight to you first because you're our event chair of the St. Jude Walk Austin event this year. And Carly giving you a little love. Let's talk about the event and its significance.
Yeah, so the St. Jude Walk across all of the markets, there's 41 markets in the U.S., is a huge driver from the fundraising for the research hospital. Our market in Austin, we raise an incredible $14 million across all the markets in the month of September, which is Children Cancer Awareness Month. And here in Austin, ours will be on September 27th. We love being a part of this huge month of walks for St. Jude.
It's just absolutely incredible. So I probably don't have to make many guesses, Ray, but can you tell me why Window World Austin specifically wants to support St. Jude?
Well, of course, the kids. It's at the worst time for the families. The children themselves are scared, so we're doing what we can. Window World Austin has been a sponsor of the St. Jude Walk Run for about half a decade. And every year we show up, we bring our team, we have people who work with us that also have kids, and it's good to know that St. Jude would be there for them if they were to need that. And then we get to meet some of the patient families while we're there and hear about stories from people who have benefited from St. Jude. It is kind of fun when you come visit us because we do bring donuts every year.
Nice.
It's one of the things that you can look forward to at the K Cafe tent with Window World specifically, and then you get to meet our team.
That's awesome. Okay. I'd like to come to you, Carly, and talk about how people can get involved and support the St. Jude Walk.
It's really easy to sign up for the walk. All you have to do is go to the website that you see on the screen, and you can register as a team or as an individual. We have a lot of family teams. We have corporate teams. It's a great way to kind of connect with your group of friends and do something really good on a Saturday morning.
Let's talk about childhood cancer survival rates and how they've changed since St. Jude opened its doors.
Yes, so since St. Jude opened its doors in 1962, the overall survival rate for childhood cancer has gone from 20% then to now we are at over 80% survival rate. It is from people like you who are here to help and support us and make the research possible.
So if you're watching, guys, this is a great opportunity to help support a wonderful cause. Y'all, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you there.
Yes.
Register and donate now at stjude.org/walkaustin. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Window World Austin. Welcome back, everybody. The owner of an East Austin food truck, Shirley's Trini Cuisine, has splashed out into a brick and mortar space, and now Chef Janelle Romeo is bringing the flavors of her native island, Trinidad and Tobago, to Austinites through Twin Isle, which carries authentic Caribbean cuisine. Really excited to talk about this today. She's here to tell us more. First of all, Chef Janelle, congratulations and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Let's talk about your background and how you got into cooking, because this isn't your first rodeo.
It is not. I started with my food truck in the pandemic.
Well, that's brave.
Yes.
Good on you.
So I grew up in the kitchen with my mother and my grandparents. Really loved food and what that brought to me, the happiness it brought to me. And then growing up in Austin without my Caribbean culture here, I always stayed connected to home through food. And in the pandemic, I decided to open my food truck, Shirley's Trini Cuisine. And
is Shirley your mama or your grandma?
Shirley is my grandmother.
I should have known. I should have known.
Shirley is my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so during going through that journey, I just figured it was time to really set my foundation in Austin and open the brick and mortar.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on all the success you've had so
Thank
far.
you.
And I think it speaks to the fact that there is an appetite for this, because there are
right.
people who might feel a little displaced. Well, I can't find good Trini cuisine, anywhere else. So you now are kind of the beacon, the light.
Yes, exactly.
And let's talk to folks who may not know a ton about Caribbean cooking. You say Indian and African influences. Can you
Right.
talk to me about how everything kind of comes together?
Yes, so you would find things like curry, which our curry is a blend of curry leaves and also cumin and also amcha masala. So it's not as pungent as you would find in East Indian curry, but it's still very flavorful. And then we have the dishes on the African side, like the stews and the mixed rice and peas, and then the jerk chicken, things like that.
And I was going to say, I'm looking at what I think are plantain.
Plantains, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that to me is a little bit of influence of African cooking as well. So chicken is an option, but also you guys do a lot of goat.
Yes, we do goat. So we do a curry goat, and that is a very, very, very important dish to us because we eat those things with like rotis. We have dalpuri roti and basabshat roti, which is paratha.
Okay, so this was me watching the Great British Baking Show, y'all, where they said basically half of India creates naan and half of India creates rotis.
Right.
And so this is a little Eastern Indian influence as well.
And we have similarities of both. So we do roti, and we have something called sada roti, which also looks like naan. So we have.
I love carbs, so I'll...
Yeah, we love carbs too.
I'll eat anything. All right, and you brought a smattering of 4 dishes here, and this is kind of the build your own bowl setup, right?
Yes,
so
that's right.
Talk to me about what the offering is that you're doing at the restaurant. This is kind of where people can do bits and pieces of what they like, right?
Right, so we have, we're focusing on a build your bowl style menu, just to give people the option to mix and match the items as they would like it to be. So here today I brought stew oxtails, which is beef.
Oh, okay, all right. I trust you more than I trust me. I'm gonna show the audience a little bit of the stewed oxtails.
Right.
And so when I say oxtail, you're right, that is a type of beef.
Type of
okay,
beef,
right.
yes.
Yeah, you have to help me
So
with
we
that.
have
Okay.
stew oxtails.
That might be, I don't know if that's a correct portion,
That's a
y'all.
good portion.
Okay,
That's a
good.
portion.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
then we have the rice and peas. So it's a
Rice and
cook-up of rice.
peas.
It's actually red beans or kidney beans.
Sure.
But we call it rice and peas. And this is actually more of a Jamaican dish.
Gotcha. Okay, so there are a lot of different influences
Yes.
in the Trini cooking.
Yes.
Okay. And then this looks like I'm going to have a lot of fun with
So
it.
this is macaroni pie, baked mac and cheese.
Yes, please. Macaroni pie baked all together. That looks absolutely
Yes,
incredible.
And then you have your fried plantains.
So you say it plantains.
We do not pronounce the A.
Okay.
So we say
So I'm
plantain.
sounding really Midwestern. Plantains. Okay. Plantains.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we pronounce it plantains.
Plantains. Okay.
Yes.
I learned something today. So that's
So
a
this is
gorgeous
it.
bowl of food. And it looks really darn filling for a nice good
Yeah,
lunch or
it
dinner.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
absolutely. Okay. So talk to us about your brick and mortar kind of like once you walk in, because a food truck you can only do so much, but like
That's
what's the ambiance that you've created at Twin Aisle?
So when you walk in, it was really important to me to hone in on the colors of the Caribbean. Like if you go snorkeling, for example, and you see the different colors in the coral reef, I really wanted to use those to influence my branding. So when you walk in, you'll see lots of coral, red colors, you'll see yellow, you'll see blues. I keep a lot of florals in there, like the tropical florals in there.
I'm obsessed with these
Thank
tropical
you.
florals.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yeah,
So
gorgeous.
I'm keeping like the florals in there. I have my pots in there that are also very much Caribbean colors.
Like vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the music playing, you know, and then even the way I chose to use the decor, I really pulled from different elements of Caribbean architecture, things that I saw growing up in homes.
I can hear that this is a labor of love.
It
so
is.
I'm really excited for
It
you
is.
guys. It just opened on September 1st. Here we are on the 4th. So we've got to make sure that we support you. I know that
Yes.
you've already had your community out. They've been throwing you a lot of parties.
Right. A lot of
But
parties.
we want to make sure that everybody else hears about it too. So if somebody stops by for the very first time, I was told the words bacon shark would
Bacon
be
shark, yes.
would be a good suggestion.
Yes.
What's that?
So bacon shark is a fish sandwich that we traditionally eat on the beach, on Maracas Beach in Trinidad. When you go visit the beach, you go to one of the little stalls and you buy yourself a bacon shark.
Bacon
Yes.
shark.
And
Okay.
another must try is also our doubles. Doubles is a street food in Trinidad that is known globally now. And I would start with either one of those.
Okay,
Yeah.
doubles and bacon shark.
Yes.
Words that you may not have said before, but here we are. We're writing them down because we're going to come see you. And come fast, everybody, because food is selling out. You're
Yes,
so
that's
popular
right.
so far. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We've got to check back in a while just to see how things are coming along. Chef Janelle, we appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right,
you.
guys, as you heard, the restaurant just opened on Rosewood Avenue on September 1st, so make sure you go out and support Chef Janelle. You can also sign up for updates at twinaislerestaurant.com. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Swift River Pecans, LLC. High-quality pecans and Texas wood with character. We're learning more today about Swift River Pecans, LLC with Troy Swift, who's here to tell us about his orchard, sawmill, and retail store on site in Fentress, Texas, which is between San Marcos and Luling. We're excited to talk to you, Troy. The very first thing that we're going to do is go from the ground up. Talk to us about your farming practices.
Well, while I started as a conventional farmer, due to environmental reasons and economic reasons, we decided to change our management style to regenerative agriculture. And what that allows us to do is use more natural farming techniques and more natural materials, which makes us less dependent on commercial fertilizers and other chemicals such as herbicides, which we've completely eliminated. But it does more than that. It conserves water quality, it conserves water in the soil. All the animals and insects and birds, arthropods of all sorts, want to live in your orchard just like I do. In today's world, when we get up in the morning and decide what we're going to do on the farm, instead of saying, what are we going to go out and kill, today we get up and say, what are we going to go out and help live? Because we want to grow a healthy food.
Let's talk about how pecans are measured for quality, because you have different measurements that you do in order to say, okay, these are the highest quality things we can offer.
We have a lot of different varieties. There's some simple things like how big are they, how many nuts per pound, so that's one thing. So the other way they're graded is how they look. Are they shaped properly? Is the color good? How golden is the kernel?
Of course, lots of pecan things to eat and to see around here, but let's talk about the other side of that, the pecan trees. Let's talk about the services that you provide as far as trees are concerned.
So we harvest those big logs and saw them on our sawmills, kiln dry them. We can do very big pieces of wood, and we have very big kilns and very big saws. We can saw logs up to 65 inches in diameter.
I do want to say to maybe somebody who's watching, they haven't been out here before, they didn't know that this little gym existed. What would you say? Come on down and get an education.
Oh yeah, come down. We're open 9 to 5 every day except Sundays. We'll give you a tour of the shop. And if you make arrangements in advance, we can even give you a tour of the orchard. So a lot of people do that.
We really appreciate your time today, Troy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Working with Mother Nature to grow the best pecans money can buy. Learn more at swiftriverpecans.com. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Swift River Pecans, LLC. The following portion of Studio 512 is sponsored by Marbridge Foundation. If you have a family member with intellectual and developmental disabilities, Marbridge Foundation is a wonderful place for them to spend their adult years all the way to the end of life. We're going to talk today more about admissions with Jenna Hudson, director of the ranch, and a family member of one of the Marbridge residents, Megan Argo. So we're first going to start with you, Jenna, if you would. Just remind us about Marbridge and what it is y'all do.
Sure, thanks. Marbridge is a residential community in Southwest Austin. We are 72 years old this year, and we actually are a continuity of care community, meaning that we can meet the needs of an individual from 18 years to end of life. We have 3 distinct communities on our campus. There's the Village, which is our most independent, least supportive community, the Ranch, which is a mid-level supportive community, and then we actually have a licensed skilled nursing center here as well, the Villa.
We've got an out-of-stater here who has relocated to Texas to be with your sister Kristen, who now has been at Marbridge for 3 years. So first, if you wouldn't mind, Megan, can you tell us a little bit about Kristen as a person?
Sure, I'd love to tell you about Kristen. So Kristen's my older sister. And she is 57 years old, just a big, sweet, huggy, smiley person. She lives in Jenna's community at the ranch. That was something that my parents focused on a lot. She has Down syndrome, and so she did a lot of speech therapy and really loved school and being in lots of activities. And so Kristen was very social when she was younger, but in the years before she moved to Marbridge 3 years ago, she actually had become rather sedentary because of just as my parents were aging. She lived with my parents her whole life. And as they were getting older, she just, a lot of her social opportunities started to wane. Friends moved away. There was less activities that were really appropriate for her age group and her mobility levels and things. And so, so although she's such a social person, it really wasn't until she moved to Marbridge that all of that came back out, and in new ways, just by having the first experience. So she moved in here at 54. And having her first experience living with friends. You know, that was something that she always really wanted.
I agree. Now she's got many more happy years ahead of her.
She does. She does.
And so Jenna, if I can just circle back around to talking a little bit about admissions. So if people are interested in hearing just more about Marbridge, for example, even if they're from out of state, they can get in touch with y'all and learn a little bit more, right?
That's absolutely correct. One of the best ways to get in touch is to go to our website, marbridge.org. There is a portal there in which you can contact admissions directly and fill out a form. You can also call us directly at 512-282-1144 and ask for admissions.
Sounds good to me. Jenna, thank you so much for your time. And Megan, give Kristen a hug for me.
I will.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
To learn more about what Marbridge has to offer, go to marbridge.org. The preceding portion of Studio 512 was sponsored by Marbridge Foundation. Content segments during Studio 512 were paid for by Window World of Austin, Texas Oncology, and Puppy Food Bank. We have a lot of fun here on Studio 512. If you missed any of our great segments, be sure to check out our website where we like to post the fun things we do. Our feed covers content like arts and entertainment, food and drink, fashion and beauty, home and garden, stuff for kids and pets, as well as information from area experts. In addition, you can check out web-exclusive content that you can only find on Studio512TV.com. We also love to post behind-the-scenes funny moments, outfit inspirations, and more on social media. Find us by searching for Studio 512 on your favorite platform. You don't want to miss a single post. Be sure to follow us, check out our website, and watch us every weekday at 11 a.m. right here on CW Austin.